Hi bro, welcome to What's Going Japan. This is Morta. I'm from Japan. I've been living in Japan for many years. I'm 100% Japanese. In this channel, I will introduce various kinds of Japanese culture. I'm a guide I will lead you to a better understanding of Japan. Okay, let's get started. Today's topic is Taiheiki. Taiheiki is a Japanese historical epic written in the late 14th century and covers the period from 1390 to 1367. Kamakura shogunate power and authority gradually declined and the Japanese people wanted a new order. But who overthrew Kamakura shogunate? How did they beat up on them? What is the main problem after shifting the government? We can see through Taiheiki. At first, the Kamakura shogunate centered in present-day Kamakura in Kanagawa prefecture was a samurai government. It ruled over domestic disturbances and prevented invasions from foreign countries. The wars continued for too long, and people began to desire peace. However, it would take several hundred more years for the country to actually move toward peace. The Kamakura shogunate led by the Hojo clan was weakened and the world was in turmoil. At this time, groups of villains began to appear in the country, and problems such as bribery, looting, and poverty began to abound throughout the country. Samurai in various regions stopped obeying orders from the central government. In English, they are so-called badass. The Taiheiki was written around this time. The tale of the Heike depicts the Heian period as it gave way to the Kamakura period, while the Taiheiki depicts a warfare that took place between the Kamakura period and the Muromachi period in the 14th century Japan. The Taiheiki describes a period when the center of politics was about to shift again from Kamakura to Kyoto. Here, there were three famous generals, Ashikaga, Hideyoshisada, and Kusunoki Masashige. At that time, the war leader is Emperor Go-Daigo. He planned to create a political system centering on the emperor again. It was 14th century. The most popular one is Kusunoki Masashige. Without him, the Kamakura shogunate would not have fallen. Originally a scoundrel, he did not come from a distinguished family. Moreover, his fighting style was like that of the movie Home Alone. In a way, it was comical. He set all kinds of traps to repel the attackers of his castle. One time you dropped big rocks, boiling water, or pieces of a cliff, another time you burned down the opponent's rudder, and so on. And finally, they burned down his castle and ran away. When he burned it down, he put his own armor on the corpse and made their opponents think he was dead. Thinking they had won, the Kamakura forces took over that castle and repaired it. Kusunoki Masashige then returned and took over the castle, began to resist it again. Meanwhile, the warriors of Emperor Go-Daigo's groups began to rise up all over the country in Japan. Kusunoki Masashige was truly a warlord of wisdom and wit. He was a Japanese badass who hits the blind spots in the rules and can think outside the box. And it was Hideyoshisada who attacked and destroyed Kamakura, the base of the shogunate. He was also a cool guy. Kamakura was a place with many mountains and was protected by hills. When he realized that attacking from the land was disadvantageous, he decided to go around from the seaside. However, he had to cross the ocean on horseback in 2 hours while the tide was low. To inspire his soldiers, he prayed to heaven and threw his soul into the ocean, just as Moses did when he parted the sea. Then, the tide of the sea receded. From there, he crossed the sea on horseback and attacked and destroyed Kamakura, an important city at the time. It was a very dramatic victory. Compared to Kusunoki Masashige, he seems to have excelled in cavalry battles on the plains. He fought on horseback over a wide coast. He was more of a warrior than a politician. However, it was Ashikaga who finally took the highest position of a samurai, that of a Seitai shogun. With his strategy and tactics and his long-term perspective and political gamemanship, he had all the qualities of a war leader. He attacked and destroyed Kyoto, an important stronghold of the shogunate. So, he was originally a servant of the Hojo clan, and while Kusunoki Masashige had the shogunate forces pinned down, he too turned against them. he turned on his heel at the shrine and suddenly gave different instructions. Even though his retainers had thought that he was going to defeat Emperor Go-Daigo's side until then, he must have been quite popular, since his subordinates followed such a sudden order. While Tsunuki Masashige was stalling for time with his wires, Ito said captured Kamakura, and Ashikaga Takeshi captured Kyoto, and the Kamakura shogunate was finally defeated by the activities of these three shoguns. In the meantime, another problem occurred when they moved to the next political system. Emperor Go-Daigo favored the court nobles over the samurai. Not only that, he was not a very good politician. His policy on land was particularly bad, and as a result, the country was in turmoil. Since agriculture was the mainstream at that time, policies regarding land for agriculture were very important. So they conducted politics to concentrate power in the imperial court. In the first place, the samurai who were the guardians of the land became angry. Then they asked who should be the leader of the warrior class. Then the name of Ashikaga Takeshi came up. From there was a momentum to make Ashikaga Takeshi the shogun, because of his achievement in overthrowing the Kamakura shogunate. However, Ashikaga Takeshi apparently did not want to fight against Emperor Go-Daigo, and he managed to escape from becoming the leader by becoming ordained. But instead of being indecisive, he took a very long-term view, gathered his friends, waited for the right moment, and prepared for a sure victory, didn't he? That is what was so amazing about him, and why he was recognized as a master builder of the Muromachi shogunate. He traveled back and forth between Kanto, Kansai, and Kyushu, assembling an army of warriors from all over the region. And the reason for fighting was more important than anything else for the warriors of that time. If they became the imperial enemy, they would just be a group of criminals. To oppose Emperor Go-Daigo would be like starting a rebellion. At that time, there were two families producing emperors in this period. One is called the Daigaku lineage, and the other is called the Jimyo lineage. Emperor Go-Daigo was an emperor of the Daigaku lineage. Therefore, Ashikaga Takeshi gained the support of the Jimyo line of emperors and was formally spared from becoming a common enemy. In this way, Ashikaga Takeshi visited various places to gather forces and also to make a good name for his cause. After making such careful preparations, Ashikaga Takeshi destroyed the forces of the imperial court led by Nite Usada and Tsunuki Masashige. As you can see, to become the leader of a warrior clan, it is important to be strong in battles, to have a solid bloodline, to have support from influential people in various parts of the country, and to have a great sense of purpose. Ashikaga Takeshi fulfilled these conditions by traveling throughout the country. Thus, he kicked out the Emperor Go-Daigo's army, but he did not kill or exile Emperor Go-Daigo. He respects the emperor's family. However, this also creates a distortion of power. At that time, Japan had two emperors, and the country entered the period of the so-called Northern and Southern dynasties. That was the situation in Japan in the 14th century. Thus, Japan came to the end of the Kamakura period, and the Muromachi period began. Okay, that's all for today. Thank you very much for listening. My only hope for you is that this video helps you understand Japan well. I'll be back soon. Don't forget to subscribe. Goodbye.